the total saturated.
We're here.
Oh, hey, we're live. Hey, what's up?
Buddy, don't worry. We were just chit-chatting really fast. I had to actually convert some files. When I was trying to open the Aladdin files, about half of them opened and half of them were saying that they were parsing the JPEG sector into not opening land.
Whatever sci-fi language is coming out.
Yeah. Luckily, I have a converter that, for whatever reason, can fix them. Thank God.
Are you slowing down in your gathering of material than you used to be, or are you even more mad than?
No. So here's the funny thing: I'm becoming a minimalist.
Yeah.
I'm starting to purge everything. So I haven't done it with digital files yet, but yeah, I'm about to be a savage with everything that I own.
Are you finding that? This is some of your own advice, I think, from one of your older videos, is that sometimes you have too many influences, and that maybe it's better to focus on just the couple things or one thing that you really are influenced by.
I think in general in life, having too much shit around you it can be problematic. But it's just, look, I'm a middle-aged adult now, and I've collected all this shit: art supplies, comic books, magazines, books. I don't look at fucking any of it. I seriously don't. I mean, I do for YouTube, but people that really know me, I mean, it's like what's funny is I just recently reunited with some friends that I grew up with, and we've been chatting and talking a lot more than we had been in a long time. I never even showed them my art. And it was funny is I finally, like, they were talking about something and I sent a piece of art, and he goes, you've always been like this. It's so funny how, like, you never will show off your stuff. You always think it sucks. Like, it's kind of, I'm going on a tangent, but yeah. So just in general, I'm just trying to get rid of, like, if I could right now, I would literally wave a magic wand and get rid of like 80% of the stuff that I own.
I'll be there tomorrow with my U-Haul truck.
Yeah, right.
I'll take it all off your hands.
My eBay is gonna blow up.
Hell, I might look at it, because like there's definitely, I'm always on the hunt for something. I'm a much more picky consumer these days than I used to be. Well, I have one purchase that I have planned for this year that was actually planned for next year, and that's the artist edition of Jim Lee's X-Men.
Oh, right, you're gonna get that? Cool.
They are putting together all of his X-Men run.
That's been coming for a while. I've known about it for probably 2 years.
I even wrote to some of the I can't remember, maybe Jim Rugg from Kayfabe. It was like, just to let you know, this shit's coming down the pipe. So I don't know if he saw that or whatever, but I'm like, I'm definitely getting it. I'm a sucker for that stuff, though.
No, it's great. I mean, look,
what's funny is I don't draw anything like that, but
the stuff in black and white too is actually very, very interesting to see. It was so inspirational and so influential to so many people. It's a little before my time. I mean, I've talked about this before. When I started collecting comics, I didn't know the sort of lineage of things, and so I see this online all the time. Like, people will be talking about like a particular artist and they don't know the chain of influence.
Oh yeah. I immediately go and look for the rest.
Right. And so for me, like the first couple of artists that I remember being image artists I remember being a fan of would be Dale Keown, Mark Silvestri, and Todd McFarlane. And I liked Savage Dragon early on, the first like 3 or 4 issues. And so
those
Jim,
are great.
to me, on Wildcats, I thought was really good, but I liked the other guys better. It sounds weird. I mean, I don't mean that in an offensive way, but like if it was a top 4, I probably would have gone Todd McFarlane, Mark Silvestri, Keown, and then Jim, of those 4.
That's interesting. Yeah, Keown, I didn't really discover until much later. I mean, I'm a straight image kid. Like people were trying to introduce me to comic books. I had a best friend who had a wall full of comic books, and I'd grab a handful and we'd go eat apples and cheese on the porch, and he'd be reading all these epic stories, and I'm just looking at John Buscema Wolverine, going, wow, cool, not really understanding. But then I saw, I was in, I guess I just started high school, and I saw that Rob Liefeld commercial.
Right.
And that was right when they were launching X-Force, the X-Men relaunch with Jim Lee, and then Rob Liefeld, and then, Todd was on Spider-Man, and I went and got it all.
Sure.
And then shortly after that, like less than a year, you're seeing ads for the Image stuff, and I'm like, what is that? It's like, it hit me when I saw that Wildcats ad in the back of, whatever, probably Youngblood, and it was like, I just never seen anything like it. It hit me immediately.
I remember getting mad at J. Scott Campbell, not mad like emotionally mad, but I remember looking at Gen 13 #1 of the mini series, like before the launch of the series, but the first 5 issues. So in issue 1, they had Lynch from Wildcats, and I only had probably Wildcats 1 and 2, and I remember looking at it and going like, this guy's ripping off Jim Lee on Wildcats. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this character looks just like the character in Wildcats, but I didn't put together it was the same character.
I see it got a little bit of Jim hate, just like your grandfather throwing out, racial slurs. You kind of have to give these old guys a little bit of a pass. I mean, they did some astonishing things and changed our industry forever. So I give them a pass, with them trying to play the secure business type now. I don't know what they're doing now. I don't really pay attention.
Well, Random McAnderson or whatever, he's never worked for DC or Wildstorm or been around Jim in person, I would speculate. So you're basically guessing what's going on. Look,
he's making money moves for sure. I mean, but
and nobody
why wouldn't you?
Nobody at DC controls DC. That's a fallacy right there. It goes so far above DC Comics. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like fan talk. It's like when you talk about baseball players and you're like, oh, the fucking coach and this, that, and the other. There's a lot of people that pull strings when you're orchestrating big moves.
Yeah, like but fan talk's kind of at the heart of like everything. It's like that. If you read any of these old books, oh my god, they're going at it in the letters columns. I mean, it's nothing. Fans are fans, and it's funny because when I got in, oh man, I talked so much trash about people, and I didn't realize that. Oh, I'm a pro, and people were looking at me differently, and they were like, "Oh no, don't be doing that." I'm like, "No, I'm a fan."
Right. Well, it's interesting too because they're like I remind myself of that still to this day that it's like it's really easy as a comic book fan to talk shit about comic book artists, and this has nothing to do with the business side of things, but that's how fans talk. Like it's
part
like
of the game.
If you're a music fan, you're like, the fucking Metallica album, the new one,
sports
out, da. But if you met Kirk Hammett, you'd be like, oh my god, I've been a fan of your stuff for 40 years, and it's a very different. It's like. It's not that easy to generalize, but as a fan, I think that you have that ability to do it, and that's what's fun about being a fan. But I say this too about penciling. It's like it's really easy to say someone sucks at penciling until you throw your hat in that same exact ring, and then all of a sudden you're like, shit, like I might not be a fan of that person's stuff, but they can draw pages better than me.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I actually like that world. It was long gone for me years ago. And so like it doesn't really matter what's going on there now because there's a shift happening just like when Image happened, and I'm just more interested in where we're going.
Yeah, me too.
So like they could be making whatever moves. I'm not even paying attention.
I don't either. I don't either. I said when David Finch interviewed me and he was asking me something about it, and I was like, oh, my answer could be taken in a weird way, but it's just, it's like, look, there's times in my life where I've been big fans of things and then I get bored of them. I was a huge fan of The Who as like a kid for whatever reason, The Who and the Stones, and they were past their prime, but
God, this is a little off the subject. I'm sorry, but you mentioned the Who. I just saw this concert on YouTube the other day where Keith Moon passed out on the drums.
Yeah.
And they brought some 19-year-old kid from the audience to finish the concert.
That's the crazy thing is there's actually
so brilliant. I loved it.
You can see that on YouTube. Talking about a moment for that guy to actually get a sit in with the Who.
That was brilliant. I loved it. Yeah, it was really like energizing. I was like, oh fuck yeah, I got that chills. I was like, man, that kid, that's the best day of that kid's life.
but I love the Who, but I had to take like a 25-year break from listening to them. And it's the same. I think for me, like comic book characters like Batman, Spider-Man, I'm just bored with them. It has nothing to do with the companies, the talent that's on them. I literally don't care about what those characters are up to anymore now.
I get that way like weekly. Like I'll find, like suddenly I'll see that, you know, Jack Kirby Challengers of the Unknown, and then I'm like pouring through it for a week, like this is the greatest thing ever, you know, and then I'm like, whatever, you know, what's next?
See, when I do that too, it's funny because people will ask me like who my influences are, and literally what will happen for me occasionally is, and I can use Neil Adams as an example. I've never followed Neil Adams stuff. I know he's a great artist, he's highly influential, but once every 2 or 3 years I'll have maybe like a 36-hour period where I'll get really into Neil's stuff, and I want to see like a lot of the Batman work that he did, and it's really, really good, but it gives me a fix, and then I'm able to move on, and I don't think about it really again until it just comes to me. But yeah, the interview with Finch isn't up yet. But anyway, he asked me.
Oh, okay, good. That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. But no, he hasn't put it up yet. If they're going to edit it and then send me it, I for approval, I don't care. I didn't say anything that I wouldn't say anywhere else. But I just, you know, for me, I'm more interested in new books. But it's the same spirit of when I started collecting comics. I was interested in what Todd McFarlane was doing. I was interested in what Jim Lee was doing because it was new, it was fresh. I felt like those comic books were made for me as a fan, and I think that's what's exciting about what's going on now is these books feel like they're made for the fans.
Yeah, and another thing that's really exciting to me is when that next guy, that next powerhouse, you know, it was Sean Gordon Murphy. It was probably our last big one for a minute, but he's gone now. I don't even hear. It's just disappeared.
I don't know.
So. But like there was the Joe Mad, there was the Jim Lee, there was the Rob Liefelds, there was the John Burns even back in the day. But there was always like this super powerhouse for the minute. You know, I remember when Stephen Platt came around, it was like,
Platt was the shit. Yeah, so good.
So we've had a few like real powerhouses kind of come out of the woodwork, and it's been so fun. But I'm you know, we're like so close to I think the first big explosion of the next generation. You know, somebody's going to hit.
I don't think it's happened yet, but it's pending.
It's coming. So it's going to be something that like catches everybody. It's going to be like wildfire.
Blaster Kid.
Yeah, exactly. Hint.
So we never got around to doing this, but this will be the first week that we're going to do it. Is an image that we saw that just sort of for whatever reason had a little bit of an impact on us. It was just, you saw it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a drawing, but just an image that you saw online over the last week or so that really kind of inspired you, got you excited about things, and you know, what was it?
This was a little tough because mostly I've been playing Minecraft.
Yeah.
Working, and then like when I'm not working, I'm like, you know, cooking food or running errands, and then I'm playing Minecraft, and then watching videos on Minecraft. I don't know why I'm just obsessed with it. It's relaxing, but so I had to dig deep and think like, what is it? What image that I've seen that really hooked me? And this is one that's hooked me a couple times. But anyway, what do you got?
Do you want me to share the screen and you can go first, or do you want me to go first?
Here, I can pull mine up. I got ours.
I'll pull mine up right now too. Give me 1 sec. I'm going through a folder real quick to grab it.
Yeah, my wait, I need to open this some way I can manage it.
Okay, you let me know when you're ready. If not, I can go. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first. I'm still trying to
Okay,
open
so
this.
I'm going to share screen. Share screen. I'm going to application and then this. So this is, now I can't see you guys. This is an artist named Gabriel Soares on Instagram. I actually already have a link to his Instagram. So
Man, he's ripped. I mean,
this is a UFC fighter, Conor McGregor, and this guy does ZBrush sculpts of just sort of people like celebrities, actors, musicians, and whatnot. But man, I saw this on Instagram, and I really thought that this was just a beautifully lit, sculpted. I love the caricature of his face, the whole thing, the colors. I just think it's a beautiful. It almost has a Leyendecker-esque type quality to it, even though it's cartoony.
The shape language, I guess.
Yeah,
there's a design to it's not just bloopy.
right.
There's some hard edges, and I think that's where, like lately I've been getting into soft. Like I was like, man, I want to draw kind of like softer, more appealing kind of stuff. But when you have it completely rounded and everything, it tends to be soft. Like there's no, for literally, it's soft. There's no edge to it, And this has like a little bit of the, the both. There's some soft with hard edges.
He uploaded the grayscales. I'll show these really quick, just to sort of tie it in. So this is the grayscale of the. I'm assuming this is a ZBrush sculpt, but it could be something else. I'm gonna buy that liquid clay program. Probably not right now, but in another couple of weeks, I'm actually gonna pick that up. I don't know if you remember, we looked at a piece on ArtStation that looked like clay, but it was like a 3D model. Remember the Western?
Yeah, right. I'm thinking that Western anime manga that you showed. No, that's not it.
No. It was actually Western 3D sculpted clay art. It was like a bar scene with like guys in the Old West, but it was done. It looked like it had been made in clay. But there's a program. I don't even know what it's called. I'm gonna find it. It's really cool though, but I want to get into it. It's a little different than ZBrush because I think it's a little more.
I wanted to get actual clay and like carve out just quick representations to get lighting.
But sculpt but this is this is the turnaround. So he actually does sculpt even the back. And
see, this is great when you look at this kind of stuff because the back is one of those things that's so hard to get down for some whatever reason. But you look at it like this and you're like, oh, it's actually just a couple of muscle groups mirrored.
Yeah,
and it doesn't look so difficult when you look at it like this. But
nice fist too. I really like the fist. Looks really cool. And then there's one more, which is this shot. But I'm a big fan of ZBrush sculpts. I think that they're a fantastic learning tool to look at and to understand the three-dimensional quality that we're actually trying to achieve in drawings. And I think when you see something turn around, you understand how it occupies space better. So, okay.
Yeah, you're looking at the volume and stuff.
That was my image. And then let me get back to you. And we're going to have you show your image. So I'll remove this. And then this is Kelsey's.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, it's got a hot chick in it. So, I discovered this one. I don't remember who was showing this off. I think one of the YouTubers I watched has like lots of volumes. Earl Grey, that's who it is. Earl Grey. So he pulls out like a stack of books and has a cup of Earl Grey and like goes over it. He's like a German guy. A lot of fun. But I saw this and I'm really a fan of like Hergé, but Hergé's kind of I don't know. It's oldie Olsen, as they say. It's a little stiff. And then I saw this guy who was doing kind of the Hergé, but there's something a little, I don't know, something a little extra to it. But even then, it's still, I don't know, a little loose. But I love the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
And I have this thing that I've had for a long time now, and I've lost it. But I want to try to do stuff that's instantly readable and
Right.
recognizable.
Right.
And like, I think that if you showed this to anyone in the world,
right,
there's no question what they're looking at. You know, that's a car. That's a woman in that kind of old style, you know, pilot outfit. You know, that she's looking at a map. It's you can read it so instantly, and I'm like, I'm really attracted to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Specifically because I think that you could reach more people if you're not hiding behind, you know, not hiding, that's a horrible word, but like stylizing yourself too much, you know, puts you in more of a niche thing.
Right.
And I'm more after being a storyteller, so I'm really after trying to find, you know, something that's very, very readable. And
Yeah,
I think
it's funny. Random says it reminds him of Tintin. I actually would have totally guessed that it was the same artist.
Well, that's Hergé.
Okay, right.
Hergé is the guy that created Tintin, and he's also the kind of the father of what they call Lin Claire. I guess I'm saying that right, which is clean line.
Right.
And that sparked a kind of mini revolution with different artists like what's his name? Serge Clerk, or I'm not saying their names right. I don't know. But there's a bunch of different guys that do this clean line style.
Yeah.
And I've always been attracted to it on some level, but it's really hard to escape, like, especially here in America. If I did something straight like this, it would be looked at as kid stuff, kid art. You know, this immediately interesting. Even though she's fighting Nazis and there's death and heroism and all kinds of like more mature themes in this particular book, you know? and in Tintin as well. It looks like a kid's book, but they're tackling some mature themes. So that style is not linked in with, you know, just kid stuff in Europe and other countries. So
years ago, I was pretty good friends with the guy that owns Humanoids. And I was, in the back of my mind, there's been times where I go, you know, if I wanted to do something in a different style that I didn't think would be appealing to an American audience, I could always reach out to someone like that and say, hey, I have this idea. I think that there will definitely be people in the States that will enjoy it, but it might be more of a French comic, you know? And I wonder if people have done that.
Well, I think now is the time to do these things. This is why I'm kind of dusting off old ideas and things that I really wanted to do but couldn't in the system that was, you know, around. But I'm at this. I think we're at this point, you know, as a civilization where there really is no fad. There's no rules. There's no Jim Lee, you know, where everybody wants Jim Lee art. It's pretty much whatever you want to do, it seems like. And there's an audience for it, big or small. But you can, you know, target that audience and do the thing you want to do. So now I'm kind of dusting off old ideas and things that I really wanted to do. And it's like,
well, the reality is you get 300 to 500 people on board with a crowdfunded book. You could actually probably do pretty well, especially if you got a couple of them out a year. You know what I mean? One or two.
So I'd like to do things like that, like, you know, do something that is very commercial and very like viable for and things that people want to see, cool things, and then maybe occasionally take some chances and do some things that, you know, probably won't get a huge audience, but, you know, you'll get to experiment and, you know, people will love that.
You know, it's funny because they're talking about the classic Filipino artists.
Oh, those guys are awesome.
But, you know, it made me think though is I wonder how big comics are down in the Philippines right now, and what I mean by that is Filipino artists creating Filipino inspired work. You know, the Filipino art, I mean, definitely to me has a flavor to it. It's generally quite detailed. They spot a little bit more black in the art. You know, it's a little more graphic. But I wonder if you're there, if you're like, oh, I like you know, we always want, you know, like you always want stuff that is not more exotic or whatever.
Yeah, maybe Tintin is super exotic there, whereas Buscema probably wouldn't be, because he's a little closer to the kind of stuff that they do.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But I mean, yeah, I wonder that. I actually look at a lot of other countries' stuff, like Mexico has some really great stuff. And what's interesting is that every time I explore another country, you see that's mostly their best artists end up coming to America to work. You get unless it's someplace like France, because they have such a huge comic industry on their own. There's not a lot of need to come over here unless it's just for novelty, scratch that itch.
Yeah.
But you see guys from Mexico, you see guys from Argentina, from the Philippines. So it makes me think that maybe they do not have a very robust system. Maybe there's not the priorities of the people are in different places than reading comic books. So they have to go to countries where, they can do their chosen art form. I'm so happy we live in a place that still has a comic scene, and I hope that grows. But man,
Brian Benjamin has been kind of staking some ground over in Japan, and he's been going over there the last few years, and he's got an art representation there. And COVID kind of messed it up, but he definitely was making some headway there and was starting to go over there and do more shows. And he said it's great for him because he's one of the few American comic book artists that does, classic I would say Jim Lee influenced art. So it's kind of interesting that I don't know how big that would be compared to, being like a huge manga artist, but, I guess he's unique there.
Yeah, you got to wonder. I mean, I've heard tale of, Paul Pope, of course, famously went to Japan and did some books with Kodansha, I think. But that, that was short-lived as well. I mean, I think that it's like here it would be like getting books, from gosh, I don't know if we have an equivalent. Just really obscure kind of foreign books, I guess. I guess people that read manga over there, it's like reading Marvel and DC over here, So you got your fringe stuff, which is, you got like a niche audience that likes that stuff, but it's not going to rise to. I mean, that would be fascinating if suddenly Jim Lee changed all of Japan, and like, or Richard Corbin for some reason, or something like that. It just got everybody's skin in Japan, and they just started drawing like that. That would be really wild. I don't know if that would ever happen.
So, well, I'm going to take one comment, and then we're going to get into Aladdin, so we don't lag too long because we have a lot of art to look at.
Yeah.
So my Monster mix says Euro comics are very underrated. So it made me think, though, I literally have no idea. Are there actual monthly comics in Europe, or do they only do graphic novels? I have no idea.
I think in the last 10, 15 years, I've seen them doing thinner books that are like 48 pages or something like that. But I don't know that they still come out.
Are they still? But the thing is a 48-page comic, even if it's thinner and has a soft cover, are they spending like?
No, these are hardcover, still same size.
Right. But okay. So yeah, I mean those are generally like a year project.
Yeah, they do that also because it ships all over the world. I mean, their distribution chain is a lot bigger than ours. I mean, when you hear about stuff like Tintin, for instance, is translated in 150 countries or something like that, or I don't know, just crazy numbers that these guys were doing. So yeah, I don't know. I forgot our question. I forgot what we were talking about. Are they underrated or overrated?
No. I had just never seen what I would consider like if you went to the comic book store and bought like an X-Men comic. I didn't know if in Europe they actually have comic books that are that way.
I don't know. I don't
like a 20-page
I
comic
don't
that
think
comes
so.
out
Like in
every month.
Japan, for instance, their monthlies are basically wrapped up in those giant phone books
Aren't
where
those weeklies though? Those are weeklies,
yeah,
aren't
those are weeklies. Yeah, exactly.
they?
But that's the thing. I don't know that they have the pamphlet. That is their equivalent to the pamphlet. But I don't know if the Europeans have any
Right.
kind of like throwaway medium like that. I think everything they do is designed for like
Right. That's what I
archival
meant. Is
bookshelf.
when he referred to it as European comics, I went like, oh, it's kind of interesting. I'm like, I don't know if I've ever seen like, their version of like Spider-Man that comes out, with three different Amazing Spider-Man, a Spectacular Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, but it's some
Well,
European super.
they do have some kind of stuff like that. Like there's but it's not monthly. Like there's Trolls at La Troy or whatever that has like these caveman characters, and there's been spin-offs and volumes, and there's just mountains of work of that. There's JD Morvan's Wake that he does with Philip. Oh man, I can't remember his name. Maybe no, I don't think it's Drew. But there's just volumes and volumes and volumes of that. I mean, so there is kind of like some stuff that is epic, and it's that it does span broad.
I'm watching the chat and I'm just like going like, we have the best chats, like the things that people suggest. I'm just like, oh man, I need to go back and get like a notebook and like write all this down.
I always go back and watch the chat later because it's hard to watch when you're on, and I always go back because there's so many like good things to look up for.
Okay, so you ready to get into Aladdin? And then what I'll do is I mean, obviously anyone that's here right now won't matter, but I'll timestamp it. So like in the comments section, I'll pin that so that for people
about
that
half an hour in, yeah,
so that they don't get frustrated. But okay, so I'm going to share my screen and we're going to look at Aladdin. We're going to go in order of the movie. So it'll you're going to see the end screen first, but I'm going to skip to the beginning. So
right. I'm curious what you particularly are looking in these, like what you're is it what are you drawing from this stuff?
I'm it's funny is I'm naturally drawn to color and composition over anything else. That's the first two things I look at is the design and composition of things and the color, and I'm very 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 keyed in on that, hyper aware of it. But it's just a natural thing. It probably honestly comes from like album cover art and things like that, like art books that I saw as a kid. But I can flip through books like literally at like lightning speed. I do not care about the detail. I don't care about the construction of things. It's all about the abstract read. And
well, that kind of goes to my philosophy of like making things very very readable and clean, so that when you're flipping through, you're not blurred by all those details or whatnot. You're going straight for the thing with the meat. What is that saying? Oh, that.
So this is the opening shot of the movie. We have the like the sales guy cruising across the desert. It's a beautiful beautiful shot.
Yeah, it's so it's iconic. You got your silhouette of your guy coming out of the sun.
Yeah. It's so good framed. I love the way that the sunlight is reflecting off the sand and bouncing back up on the camel as well.
Yeah, and look at that one little strip of sand that isn't in shadow.
You mean at
right on the horizon?
Yeah,
it's like I don't know. It's an interesting choice.
Yeah, really pretty. So we're gonna keep moving kind of quick.
Keep moving.
We've got a ton to look at. We'll keep seeing this end cap screen. All right, so this establishes the castle.
This color blew my mind from the moment I saw it because I've never seen anything like this. The color, and I'm not even sure these colors would be legal in print where they are in film.
Right. Interesting. It actually fades into this color, if I'm not mistaken. I think that there was about 3 different values that are not values, but like hues that they show. It's sort of like because the sun I think is moving. I'm not sure if I screen capped all of those, but Anyway, so we'll keep.
Hey, wait. Wait. Oh, damn it.
Oh, I can go back. Do you want me to open it
go
again?
back. You gotta.
Yeah, no worries.
I wanna quiz you about something in that one.
Yeah, no worries. Boom.
What color do you think that sand is?
Oh, the sand. Oh, I mean, I kind of know this trick. It's probably well. I'm seeing a few colors. It's definitely pink. But I also see orange.
Can you sample it? You're in Photoshop, right?
What's that? Yeah, I'm in Photoshop. Doing sample color.
Sample the highlight and the shadow. It looks like just two kind of layers.
Right here. Right here.
That's a shadow. Yeah, that's a little shadow.
It's a very.
Look how much darker that is than you think than it looks.
It's way darker than I would have thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually almost like a dark cranberry.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
It looks way hotter, doesn't it? Right here.
It does. That's the brilliance of this, is that it looks like evening, and you read that as sand in the dark.
Yeah.
But
it's funny because not that I've been coloring a lot of stuff, but I've been messing around with color a little bit more. And it's funny how you can run out of high-end saturation. And it's like, I want it to go brighter. And it's like, but you started too bright to begin with.
Well, in print, you have 255, I think, percent saturation is like when it starts bleeding and it's too saturated.
This out too. This is actually very, very interesting. Is this really bright orange over here?
Mm-hmm.
Watch when I sample it. It's not that bright. It sits at about 40%.
Well, that's where I was getting to. When you're trying to do those brights and stuff, and you're running out of saturation, it's what you put it next to.
That
pops. So you see that little mountain hill is nestled between that super rich dark purple and then that almost black, probably purple of the mountain in the foreground.
Look how bright this orange looks right here. And you sample it and it's so dark. It's sitting past 50%.
Yeah, but it
looks bright orange.
It pops because of what it's next to.
It's brilliant. Brilliant, I say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got to keep moving, Kelsey.
Keep moving.
We got a bazillion. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Hot shit. You know what I love on this piece in particular is this upper corner right here. This little suggestion of the like the, what do you call it? Like the balcony and a little bit of light coming through the house. Oh my God, it's beautiful.
I'm wondering if this is too dark for comic work, but maybe not. It just depends on, what your focus. I probably would have thrown some light on those figures if that was my focus, but this is a moving shot though. So
we can experiment with this with Blaster Kid. I mean, it's a very atmospheric world. And look, I'm gonna say this right now, Kelsey. I can't even imagine doing Blaster Kid without you at this point.
I appreciate it. I can't imagine doing it without you.
Yeah. And I'm telling you though, we're gonna create fucking magic with this book. It's gonna be so good.
See, this shot too, I think is so dark because he breathes fire in the next frame. And that probably makes the fire pop big time. So I know this movie very well.
I better have gotten the fire.
Well, let's see.
I'm gonna kill myself if I didn't. All right, let's see. Oh shit, I did. Wait, did I not? Hold on. Oh, God damn it. Sorry, I have a lot of that real hot stuff, though.
This is so ballsy, the color in this. It's blue, and he's wearing blue on blue, but it still pops.
Let's sample his blue. His blue, to me, looks like it's a mid-range purple based on what I'm seeing now. No, it's actually higher up than I would have thought.
It's how dark. It's totally legal. It'll never print either. So
the exclamation point means illegal, right? Yeah.
Yep. But I love that little hint of the light inside the house too, like you were saying. That
Oh man,
tiny pop of orange.
Yeah, it's so pretty. And look at this, the pottery right here. Do you see at the bottom?
There's a little hint.
Soft focus thing here.
But there's a little hint of light on that handle too.
Yeah. Look God, look how dark the highlight is on this. Check this out. So this little bright red right here. Look how dark it is.
Yeah.
It's almost black.
Yeah, it's insane.
How even possible that color is that dark? What?
That's the beauty of RGB.
Dude.
This is why a lot of web colorists I see, like people like, oh, this guy is the best colors. I'm like, none of these will print. You know, like they're great on the web.
Right.
That's the beauty of RGB. It's a lie though.
This was just a cute drawing. I like the stretch and squish of everything.
I mean, the camel's almost black. I mean,
it is. Look at that. And what's funny too is the camel is like a dark purple, but it's starting to get desaturated. It's heading towards the grays.
Yeah.
But, man,
I mean, why wouldn't you just black it out? You know, I guess on screen when there's light coming through it, maybe, and too, there's more.
Yeah, look how dark it is. It really, and it's very consistently sitting in that thing. It's a flat color because it's not really moving much. And my sample is, I think, just pixel. Yeah, I'm doing a point sample.
Yeah.
So,
there's probably a lot of different pixels.
I'll do 3x3. Average.
A lot of times when I'm sampling color, there are websites that you can go to that you can put in an image and it'll pull the color range out of it and give you swatches.
Yeah.
I don't know it offhand, but you can find it out there. But
look at this.
You end up with a lot of what we're doing here where it looks like it's too dark. I'm like, how can I use any of this?
Look at this, man.
So
this is Kelsey Shannon coloring right here.
This is why you when you do like I love monochromatic, where like the ambient light is the dominant tone, but then when you introduce secondary lighting, it just pops.
God, it's beautiful. Look at that. The swamp section of Blaster Kid, you're going to be able to go nuts. Yeah. She goes through a swamp and she's got like a lantern on the swamp map that she's on. Woo-hoo! It's going to be fucking insane.
I love that the firelight looks so bright, but I bet you it's like a deep yellow orange, right? It's not that bad. It's real hot.
It's just pretty. This is a 3x3 pixel sample. Let me move a little bit to the edge of it. It's pretty good, man. It's way up there though. They took it here. Let me get the rim of it a little bit. So the rim is actually almost like a little bit of an orangey red.
It's a lesson though in not going too hot. Like you see a lot of colorists in Marvel today, they just go straight white with the highlight.
I hate white highlights.
Yeah.
There's a artist that does traditional color comic pieces, and he always pulls his hot range to white, and I want to grab him and say, stop it.
Well, I was real obsessed with the Hildebrands for a while, and I learned from them that they never use white or black. So even when you're seeing white, it's actually a very, very soft yellow, or in black, it's a very, very deep purple, so they never go to full black or white.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is so fun. This is nice.
Yeah, it's still kind of the same range, this blue and stuff.
Yeah. It was interesting is because as I was pulling the screenshots, there was part of me that was going like, his hand is so dark. This is like got to be almost black. Look at that. Yeah, it's way down there.
But again, that brass, that gold, or it's probably
highlight.
Brass.
The highlight is right about there.
Yeah.
And then the brass itself.
Something I learned recently from Mitch Breitweiser actually is he stays in this range, and I can't really show you, but this range right where it's at now, like if you click back in your sample, this mid-range right in the middle, and like right in there and to the left, but you never go too high, too low, or too far to left or right. If you kind of keep things right here in the middle, middle left, and just juxtapose your colors from cool to warm and things like that, you're going to get your intensity. Because like when I see Elizabeth Breitweiser, she's using what looks like just intense colors. It's still in that range.
It's fascinating.
It's just like here. This goes way high, but you never see them go all the way. Well, I guess you do.
Well, I mean, they amplify. Some of it is like a little bit of the CG coloring too.
Well, even in the darks, you kind of see that they're using color temperature more than value. You know?
It's funny. I would have bet $1 million that there's a bit of a purple over here, like a reddish purple in the shadow here. And when I click on it, it actually was sitting in the blue, very, very like almost black blue. But I'm seeing some sort of weird reflective like red in there, but it's not there. It doesn't seem to exist. This will be reddish. Yeah,
a little bit more. Yeah, Stelfreeze told me this trick one time. He was like, look at your bookshelf and like look at, sometimes you'll have like a red book sitting in between two other ones, and if you stare at that, it kind of tints the other ones around it.
Yeah,
and it's some trick of the eye, and I don't remember what lesson I was supposed to get from that one, but
yeah. Well, my red curtains affect everything in my office in terms of like when I show stuff. I'm gonna actually get different curtains. I'm gonna have them made of human flesh. The sky is a beautiful color. God, I love this blue.
Yeah, so it looks flat too. Looks like pretty flat.
It's almost all the way pinned to the right, and then about 65% down, maybe a little more.
Yeah, unfortunately, we'll never get this kind of stuff in print, but we can approximate it.
Yeah,
we can get close. But then you don't want things too dark. You don't want people trying to figure out what the hell they're looking at.
No, I don't. Yeah. Oh, this is so pretty, man. I love this shot.
That sand again. He goes straight blue with it this time. Because it's just moonlight on white sand. So of course, it's gonna, But I love it. He's got the texture in it too. It's real speckly.
Yeah. So this was an interesting transitional period for Disney in terms of how they were doing the animation. I thought that it was real good. And this is all mostly hand drawn. I mean, it started to transition over the next like 10 years.
Yeah. Boy, if I can dig out the art from this time period, you'd see that I was so influenced by this movie.
Yeah.
I had like a really cartoony animation style, and I was blowing out the colors like this.
Yeah.
Back then, I wasn't worried about what was legal or not.
Look at this. This is such a great shot.
He's so dark, though. Like, I would have to brighten him up, but I love the silhouettes of the horses and stuff.
Look at that. He's like almost a black purple. His skin.
But it's hard to see him. But when it's moving, it's not a problem.
The horse's eye is like a dark brown. Oh my God, it's like a desaturated magenta. It looks beige to me, but it's magenta. Oh, but it's very desaturated though, actually. I love the little flecks of white in the sand. It really makes it look like glassy sand.
I love this because it gives you that effect in a very graphic and simple way.
Yeah,
what this is so good at. The art direction in this is everything is very graphic in its shapes, and they've kind of were doing this from this point on. What
the horse's hair, the mane is.
In fact, I think this is the movie that started it because they got before that they would just have animation designers and whatnot. In this movie, they brought in who's that artist that does everything with one contour.
Is it you mean the old school? His name is.
Somebody in chat will know.
He's the caricature artist,
right? They brought him in to do this movie, or at least to influence it. And from that point on, like they had, I can't remember this Asian guy, and like Alex Nino did like Mulan, and like I can't remember the Asian dude, but. There was somebody like kind of
Al Hirschfeld.
Yeah.
God, it was driving me nuts. I kept wanting to say Patrick Nagel, and I knew it wasn't that.
Well, and then the guy they got for the Hercules is kind of the other Hirschfeld, the guy that did the more rock and roll stuff with splatters and whatnot.
Was that the dude that did the Pink Floyd style art?
Yeah, I forget. Either Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas stuff. That
You're making my brain work too much, Kelsey.
I can never remember this stuff, but
I'm trying to think. I know his name. I have a book of it.
So this was a real pivotal movie. I just remember going to see this and laughing my ass off.
James, who's the Fear and Loathing artist?
Gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue too.
I'm looking at the chat on my iPad. James will know, or you could search it. He did a book on wine country. The more edgy guy.
Everybody's looking it up right now. Google's on fire.
No, I keep wanting to call him Carl Story, but I know it's not that, and it's not Baron Story. Baron's
it is
good
something. Though. Carl. Oh, Stedman.
Ralph Steadman. That's it.
Yeah.
Ralph Steadman. Yeah, there you go.
Ralph Steadman. This sounds like some 70s sitcom.
Yeah.
Ralph.
Okay, then we're going to get to some real hot colors here in a second. Let me just shut this.
It explodes at some point after this whole sand scene.
He puts the scarab together, and it lights up, and then it's going to fly off.
Yeah, I mean, what a simple device, because I remember thinking about this when I was watching it a long time ago when I was examining it, about how simplistic it is. You got all this blue, and then, what are the thing that they got to follow? It's the brightest thing there is, it's the bright orange, and it leads them right to this thing, goes in the sand.
There's a few things that I saw in here that I actually think that Joe Madureira was influenced by. And you can really almost see a little bit of the liquid coloring kind of happening here, a tiny bit, but there's a drawing in particular that looks very Madureira to me. It was interesting when I saw it. I was like, oh, this is great right here.
Yeah, this is kind of what I'm talking about how that, I mean, it just, boom, it's the focus. It's the thing that everybody's got to watch.
Look at the eye on the horse is great. He's just like, huh? or he looks determined.
And it's so dark too, but you still read everything that's going on. This is what I love about Disney. They're designed to the highest degree to be 100% readable. Animation, that's like the whole thing, is to like do those clean silhouetted, key poses, and I learned a lot from this stuff.
Oh, so good. This is fun. So different. That's what's fun about our channel too, is that it's like we just go where the wind blows.
You never know what you're gonna get. Look at that. That's amazing.
Taste the rainbow. The horse is great, man. The drawing of the horse. I love the silhouette of the horse is so chunky.
Yeah, it's a great design. Balance is what I see when I look at all this, is like the hair, the face, the parrot on the guy's shoulder. Everything is like really well balanced.
Look at the light hitting the parrot's face too. It's great. It's just coming across his eye. It hits a little bit of the front of his feathers here, and then his chest, and the rest is just nice and
Here's something I've been trying to like figure out for years and years and years, is see how on his hand and on his face it goes from the deep purple shadow to the highlight. So it's like, having that difference of color sometimes it'll just look weird to you when you're like putting it down, but like this guy knows color theory, back and forth, so he knows exactly what works.
We have the dark purple almost leading into black, and then what I'm going to do is let me just switch this and we can see them both, and then this. Oh my god, look how dark that is. So that's kind of an orangey red, and it's still sitting in kind of a high saturation zone, and then here I can flip it and we can see the other, and then this is the dark. So it's fascinating.
By the way, the art director of this is named Richard Vanderwinde. And he's done a few things. He's kind of one of these artist types that, he'll just pop out of nowhere, do something amazing, and then you'll never hear from him again. He's not really interested in being the end all be all, I guess.
Right. Look how dark the parrot is here. Oh my god.
And this is his masterwork, I think. Yeah. This piece, because like the color in this is just flawless. I mean,
he dropped the mic after this.
Pretty much. He went and did something completely different than this later after this. So
this is interesting too. Is I definitely I'm really enjoying these stars in the sky.
Yeah, keep it simple.
It sounds like a corny observation, but it's really kind of beautifully done, and it feels, what it is it's the gradation from the darker to the light. Like it's almost like the sunset not so long ago, or we're getting like ambient light off the earth.
It's the moon too.
Yeah.
It's probably moonlight. There's a shot in this where you see, it's like a above shot, and you're seeing the moonlight hitting the sand like this. It's like you see the shadow.
Yeah. Look how dark the horse is. Jesus shit.
I bet you it's not black either.
Yeah,
they never seem to go to black. Yeah.
No, it's sitting way down there. Look at this little red strap on. Do you see the leather here?
Barely. Let me turn up actually I got my screen down real low.
I zoomed.
Oh yeah.
Down. So it's a very, very dark, almost black red. Yeah. And what's funny is there's even a second strap that sits underneath it that you can barely see, that's even darker and is a little more desaturated.
I mean, to me, that's kind of madness. Why wouldn't you just black that out?
You can actually see Jafar's clothes too, or in here. Do you see this?
God, barely. I can see his hand a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit of the.
Yeah, it's like the side of his palm, and then you're seeing the pinky turn in a little.
Okay, yeah, I mean, just silhouetted. It's just nuts. If I was the producer of that, I'd be like, "What, are you crazy?"
So this was the other thing that Kelsey and I talked about in private that we haven't discussed yet. Is that there's two things that go on with these Disney movies. Is one, you can actually tell what Disney movie you're looking at just by seeing a color swatch sample of the movie. Like, you could definitely identify Brave versus Aladdin versus Lion King. There's very specific color palettes that they use for these movies. But on top of that, they actually tell a story in color. So you can actually look at color keys and follow the whole story just from color.
I was trying to find the color script to this. There's a documentary on the making of this, and you can see it on the wall, and they're going through the swatches. But that became kind of a regular practice from this point on. I've never seen it before this. They did some, color concept art, but up until this point, I'd never seen an entire color script. And then it became regular practice, especially after Pixar became they did it a lot. Now it's regular practice. And in fact, I've even thought about doing it for my books, like laying out all the pages and then just quickly scribbling in color based on what you're doing. And then you can see it play out before you go in and finalize stuff. But yeah, you want to see the highs and lows of the, it goes from cool to hot to maybe in indecisive moments, it's like a yellow green or something like that. You use the psychology of color to your advantage in your storytelling.
Somewhere online, I actually saw probably 10 different Disney movies. Either it was just the general colors that they use, or it was like the script done in color, so that you could see how it, like, it starts off in blues, it moves to a green, then there's the ambers and the yellows, and then as the movie starts to get more intense, it moves to like reds and things like that. So very iconic shot here. Probably.
Well, I love this too, where they're using the psychology of color in here, but they're using it mostly as a directional device.
Right.
I mean, everything's blue. You had that gold of the the light, and then now it's in this thing's throat. So it's like, oh man, that's where you got to go.
This is very Corbin to me.
Yeah, the shadowing, probably the.
Yeah, it just reminds me of like a Richard Corbin, like heavy metal painting. I love the magenta hitting the teeth where the light, it's coming from here, and it's lighting the fangs on here. I think is just beautiful.
I think this is the first CGI imagery that Disney used in an animation.
Oh, and the sand trickling off of it as it comes out. You can see a little bit of the grains of sand falling, the catching light.
I just remember, who's it? Frank Welker did the voice of that thing. He's like, "Who disturbs my slumber?" or something like that.
And now we've got Jafar getting lit by the interior light of
I am but a humble merchant. Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, well, let's keep moving. We've got a bazillion to look at. Oh, look at that. That's so nice.
Yeah, boy, he pops from that blue and that purple, because you know, blue and red makes purple. So you got your blues and oranges, and what's your medium going to be? Is that purple, where you can see the light hitting the sand. Gosh, it's some of this stuff's so bright, it's almost like hard to look at. But then you sample the color, and it's like super dark.
Yeah.
That's just the power of that, juxtaposing it with.
Oh, look at this! This is
warm
great.
And cool. Yeah, it's so good.
Really, really beautiful separation here. Jafar is so dark, and then you've got the middle ground that they did the soft focus on the character, and then you can see the cave.
It's hard not to get jealous of this stuff, because it's impossible. What we're seeing is impossible to do. That blue, I love that blue. You'll never get that blue. That blue, I love that blue. That blue doesn't exist in our world.
Now, let me ask you this: if you did digital comics that you could read on your computer, would it work or no?
Yeah, it'd work fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just print.
So maybe what you need to do is do two versions of the book. You have the print version, and then the Redux super saturated color version.
Yeah, you could potentially do it all in RGB, and convert it to CMYK and see how far the color is gray. Yeah, you wouldn't want to push it too much, because then you have to go back and I've done that before, where I've done it and I've put down a color and it grays out so much, and I'll go into CMYK and then pump up the saturation as much as possible, and it still doesn't get there, and then you have to adjust every color around it to kind of get the same effect. So it could be a pain in the ass.
I love this. This is a really beautiful little idea here.
It's a bit of a tangent there. I'm a little surprised. Probably because of the still shot. That bottom lip is moving up and down.
Right.
So the tangent probably doesn't exist there in the next frame. But
right.
It catches my eye.
Yeah. You have the arcane eye of Kelsey. That's nice too.
I love the chiaroscuro effect that's happening here, because he's got the blue sand going into the orange.
I know.
And then he's got the orange guy going back into his blue shadow. It's totally chiaroscuro with color.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Chiaroscuro is, in case anybody doesn't know, is when you have black next to white, and then you can have black in the white. It's like this. You're constantly putting black next to white. I guess Sin City would probably be a good idea, or a good example of chiaroscuro.
What's going to be interesting is we're starting to move out of the desert and then into real world, and it's going to get so much brighter here in a second.
Everybody squint your eyes. It's going to be intense.
I know. This is really interesting. I'm enjoying this a lot. It was fun getting this all together, but boy, talking about it with you and sharing it with everyone is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's where we learn stuff.
Man, this is so beautiful.
It's simple. It
looks so good.
It's so simple. I mean, it's all like I just mentioned Sin City, but this is like Sin City color, because if you just add blue, then suddenly your black and white art it's like this.
So good.
Very, very simple.
Whoa.
Oh, dude. Man, that's an album cover right there.
I know. Steel Panther 3.
God,
oh my God. That's so cool. Okay, we got to keep moving.
Yeah.
Here we go. One step ahead of the bread line. Okay, so we'll move a little quicker through some of these. This is a nice shot.
Get him, catch him, rip his head off.
Yeah.
Whatever the song is.
I as I was moving through the movie, I started moving a little quicker and I became more selective with what I was picking. I generally tried to pick what I considered interesting framed cinematic shots that incorporated some background and interesting perspective. So
this is sample some colors from here real quick, because like
sure.
that wall in the background,
the yellow wall.
Well, the one even behind it, the one up. Yeah, that.
Oh, this right here?
No, over to your right.
Okay.
No.
All the way over?
The yellow wall that's in the furthest background.
Okay, yeah, right here.
That looks like it almost has some green in it.
Yeah, it's leaning towards sort of what do they call that? Ochre, yellow ochre.
Yeah, that's wild. It's still not as bright as I thought it would be.
Yeah, there's a hot edge on it that is a little less saturated, but not that much brighter, to be honest.
What about his skin tone? It almost looks like it's probably the same as the scene before, but it's just in a brighter scenario, so it doesn't. It is.
Yeah.
That's where the skin tone was of the guy in the orange light. This is where I've been thinking a lot about this. Is where your highlight when you have like a dark room and you have a light hitting your character, you don't make that brighter. You make that the skin tone,
right?
Because what that is that's lighting up the skin tone. So suddenly, and then you can go hotter from there.
Right. That's crazy.
Good stuff.
This is a nice shot. I love the painted backgrounds that they used.
Well, and how that's silhouetted against that blue, that intense blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so.
This is cool. Nice shot.
I just love how you got all this. You got the warm tones, and then your cool sky. You got that little bit of purple from the. But there's not a lot of like in between. I'd be throwing greens in this. I'd be throwing greens and like purples and like all kinds of stuff in the shadows, and it's like not even. You don't need it.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Well, that's what this is about. It's a process of. Oh, this is actually pretty dark.
So intense. Next to that blue sky.
Yeah. Well, and this blue is not that bright.
Where does your eye go right here?
When I initially looked at it, I was actually kind of getting stuck right here, kind of like just where this drapes down. It really this carpet right here is so bright that it's like my eye sits here, but it keeps getting pulled here.
It does. Yeah. I wonder if that's the line work. The lines of all the, everything's kind of pointing to that one middle part.
Yeah.
Instead of the guys.
It's interesting that it's not the characters that you get stuck on as you get stuck on this. I'm wondering if Aladdin, does he jump down and land on a particular
carpet? He kind of jumps at us, like he's falling towards camera, I think. Maybe. I don't remember exactly.
Oh, okay. I might have skipped ahead a little bit. So this is cute. We'll hustle through some of these just because we have plenty open. This is a nice shot.
Yeah. Look how goofy a character drawing.
Yeah. There's what's funny is sometimes the likeness drifts. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Facial expression. I noticed Jafar a few times looked very weird. Like,
well, you're catching him in the middle of the squash and stretch, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the monkey's name? I can't remember.
Apu.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. My instinct would have been to use cool colors on the foreground guy, but
right,
that might have interfered with that pop of the sky color, because it seems like that's what he's doing. It's like sky is blue, everything else has red in it.
Yeah, this is a really beautiful little area down here too. This opening that takes you to the other parts of the
a lot of depth.
Yeah, this color is gorgeous. This blue up here is really nice.
I want some shoes like that.
I'll get you some. When we hit 100K on Blaster Kid, I'm buying you
some pointy shoes.
some Baba Yaga
Baba
shoes.
Yaga shoes.
This is great too. The sky again is just a gorgeous color, man.
It just silhouettes them perfectly.
There's a funny gag coming up here. The guys all throw their swords and spears at him. I did actually pull that because it's a nicely drawn little kind of joke.
Have we hit the Joe Mad thing?
No, not yet.
Okay.
It's the hermit that gives Aladdin the carpet, I think.
Look at the color of the swords and stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of blue gray, but
yeah,
it still stands out so well.
Yeah. There's two colors, well, three colors on the swords. And see, and that's another thing I had pointed out. I was talking about clothing and drawing clothing or even figures. And I said, if you can't find 2 or 3 lines that work, how in the world are you going to be able to do a detailed drawing? And it's kind of the same with color. If you look here, this axe is 3 colors. You've got the base color, you've got a highlight, and then the hottest highlight. And it's just 3 colors, but it tells the tale.
I've heard a lot of guys, especially when the Batman Animated Adventures things was taken off and everybody was doing that more simplistic style and discovering that it's a lot harder than you think because you have to make that one line you put down the right one. But you see a lot of guys, like if you look at Finch, like how he does his construction, he starts off with that simple, effective silhouette, and then he goes in and adds the details. So he does have that base of doing the right, the clean right one first, before he breaks it up.
It'll make your stuff more solid. This is really cool, man. The actual form of the water, how they lifted it.
Well, even the color, I would have done blue, and of course water's clear, so it would look like the sand,
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I would have been tempted to throw in another color in that just to make something, but that would have been distracting.
I like the lighting on this wood here. It's very magenta.
Well, even all their magentas, he introduced, I guess blue. I mean, I'm trying to think of what this would be on the color wheel.
Which character?
More than likely a triadic. Oh, he's got this little pop of green right there. Look at that.
Down here?
No, there's like a bag behind the girl's face
right here.
Right? Yeah, there's a green. That's interesting.
Right here. This thing?
Yeah. But I love purple, orange, and green are like one of my favorite
colors. The hair, if you look, the hair has got like the slightest bit of a purple that is the line work.
Oh, that's weird.
In it, you can see it's a dark purple. Kind of a mid-range purple.
Okay. Good stuff. And that blue of the window completely draws your eye right to Aladdin.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Cool. Nice little drawings. This guy's
He's got a sword! Idiots. They all got swords. Yeah.
Oh, this is nice. Look at that door, man.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Good
Fun
stuff.
Shapes. They did a great job with the design. This is cool.
Yeah, great stuff.
Look at this window.
See that also that refracted or not refracted. I don't know what that light is. Right at the edge of the wall. There's a little bit of the sky color kind of picking up on the
kind of a Frazetta thing.
Yeah, a little dry brush kind of
texture. It looks like the palette knife,
Yeah.
Good
Great
shit.
stuff.
Oh, this is such a beautiful shot.
Yeah, I love doing things where you add windows within windows. Like, so you got your little panel, and then you cut that up into other bits to add depth, and also you focus on where Aladdin is. He's right over there.
Yeah. This is neat too. There's some really, really dark blue in this corner. You see this wood. The top is blue. It's getting reflective reddish light down here.
I almost think that he intended that to show up more, but it, the process of doing it, maybe it was too dark, but maybe that was. See, there you go. Look at that. Like, maybe not so magenta in the highlights, but I almost imagine the shadows having a little more detail than we're actually seeing.
God, this movie would not be as cool if it was this bright.
Yeah, I like the darkness of it.
Yeah, it's funny. Who would have known Aladdin was so damn dark?
A lot of times when I'm coloring something too, like I'll finish it and then I'll take that and make a copy as an overlay and put it on overlay or screen or something like that, and that darkens and amplifies the colors that are there. And sometimes you end up with it'll end up looking like that, where it's like, oh, suddenly your darks and lights are more intense.
Yeah,
and it focuses you better.
There's a nice highlight on these stairs over here, this kind of bright magenta color, just a little bit on these two stairs.
Bright.
There's a little bit of almost like a blue right here, but it could have just been the paint. No, it's not blue. It's actually
it's what the sky, the ambient tone of the sky is coloring that wood, and it ends up being this gray, purplish gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. When I'm thinking about light, I think about the temperature of the light. So if you got like an orange, yellowish like bulb light, then whatever it hits, it's like, okay, it will turn green, more of a yellow green. And then you got your cool light coming from the window, and that's turning my green into more of a bluish green. So you just tint whatever your color is to that ambient tone.
Look at in the shadows of this door frame, this blue that frames it.
Oh man, I love that little bit of purple in the tower, coming from the
up here.
Yeah, the shadow. Yeah, it's just interesting.
Does Don Bluth use colors like this in his work, or no?
No, kind of. I find his colors to be kind of sloppy.
Is it? Okay.
But good, like I still like that stuff. But he'll have some like really wacky colors. Kind of. This is not nearly as unified as this, but not much was before this.
Yeah.
I mean,
look at how bright this stuff is back here.
Yeah, bright again.
Well,
bright.
or like illuminated.
Yeah.
Poor choice of words, but yeah, the illumination on these rocks in this area back here is very, very cool. Even in here,
he's really playing with that ambient tone, more than almost anybody I've seen. Where the lights going down and what is that tint everything else.
So this is interesting. So you've got the sunset or sunrise happening over here, and that light is bombarding this way through the scene, but it's bouncing off of something off screen to the right, and it's actually refracting onto these rocks down here on the opposite edge. Do you see that?
Yeah.
He's playing. That's reflected light from the sky hitting something over here and then coming back around, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
That's crazy.
That's pretty detailed for.
Yeah. Oh, look at this little area right here. This, like, it's almost like they have like a little bit of a tea light right here, like lighting up this rock.
Yeah, it's like simple shapes, but they still have.
No, that light hits up here too. If you look, it starts here and it's lighting this, and it's catching the under edge of this.
It's like it still reacts, even though it's cartoony. It still reacts the same way as real life.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm gonna need a cigarette after this, and I don't even smoke. This was interesting. this was a fadeaway that I thought was just a very interesting and kind of beautiful shot. But it's really like just this is beautiful right here, and then this color in the sky, and yeah, it's got kind of a Michael Golden vibe to me.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Rich before we started. It's like a lot of my color theory comes from Michael Golden and Aladdin, those two things, but they're very close to each other because they're using a lot of primary, colors.
Okay, so here I'm going to play the guessing game with you. What color is this sort of greenish thing that's going on in here on this wall, do you think?
I don't even see greenish, but I'm going to say it's like in the dark blue, purple, or not blue, but not purple, but blue.
Okay.
Dark gray. Yeah.
It kind of sits over there. It's funny because I'm getting like a weird green color almost, or like a yellow over the blue.
Yeah, see, that's that eye trick I was telling you about. When you look at like one bright color, and then you look at the next, and then you look at the next book over, and it looks like that color.
Well, what's funny is me staring at it on my computer screen, big right here. Now, when I'm looking at the color picker, these grays are having the same. I'm seeing the same hue over there, and it's not there. It looks like a yellow ochre kind of mustardy green.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it kind of here too. You see that, like in here? This looks like it has yellow in it to me. I don't know why. Yeah. I'm tripping, dude.
Well, it is on the warmer, I would say warmer side of the blue, where it's going more towards the green than it is the purple.
Could you imagine doing this on acid?
Oh, dude. This would be a great movie to watch on acid.
It would be a 10-hour video.
Dude.
We'd still be on the first image.
Oh man. The silhouette of that was perfect.
Yeah. There he is. You little Apu.
See, I mean, his fur and that pillow looks greenish, like it could be.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not even close, I bet. It's just gray, blue. But I love that, playing with the more of the gray tones. Oh,
yeah.
Dude. Pop.
Here's the castle getting some loving.
See, my trouble when I was learning all this stuff is like, how do you do ambient color and still have everything? Like, if you're doing a superhero book, all these heroes have all these different colors, and it's like, how do you focus the eye? Well, then you have to do ambient lighting where nothing is like true color until it's being hit by light. But
right.
I don't know. That's such a trick. It's like how to balance. When you look at like old school books, they'll just drop out whole figures in like one color. Right.
Well, I was always under the impression with DC, like, that they don't like the colors kind of messed with on the superheroes. I don't know if that's still a thing, but you know what I mean? Like Wonder Woman sort of has to be Wonder Woman's colors. Aquaman kind of needs to be his colors. And yeah, I don't know if that's a rule or if it's.
I used to get in trouble with it a lot because I would push things too far. Like if you look at my Flash stuff that I did with no, I forget. But I did the Flash Year One stuff, and I was straight up making Flash like purple.
Right. Yeah, and then you might get kind of directed. Hey, can you keep Flash's costume kind of normal red? And
as long as I have some pops, of red in there. Yeah.
It's interesting that they chose to do the castle doors green, like emerald. I don't know, like
it totally pops though. It makes your eye go like it's the only green there.
Yeah,
my eye kind of goes right to it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, sky.
That's just cool. Oh, we're gonna get some fun stuff here in a second. There's some interesting new scenes that we're gonna get to. Oh, I love the cat. What's the cat's name?
Raja.
Thank you.
I can't believe I remember all this.
I'm just trying to embarrass you. This is how nerdy he is. Look at how beautiful the emerald green bushes are. Or what do you call it? Flora?
Yeah.
That's flora.
It's flora. So I like this because they're still using monochromatic color schemes to silhouette your characters, but if it's like you got your green of your trees and everything is in this green value, and then you got your floor level, and then the floor I guess is the same kind of color schemes as you got on let's see if I can remember his name. I don't remember his name. The Sultan.
The Sultan of Swing.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the green.
His little shoes are funny. We're getting you those. I'm telling you. I might even lower the tier. If we break 60K, then I'll get you those shoes.
Give me the wooden versions, the clogs.
Oh, yeah, it's a little animation. I liked Raja's face here. Okay, so let's keep moving. We got a lot to get to.
We're already at an hour and a half.
Yeah, we'll call it at noon because I got to get to work. This is nice. So Princess Jasmine.
What's interesting is the colors too. That you got your green and orange. I know those are like analogous or whatever, but then you got this teal or whatever that is of her outfit.
Yeah,
but again, I bet you this is still all within the bounds of color theory, you know, and it's probably a triadic or something like that.
Yeah. So the outline of her figure is, let's see what color that is. I mean, her body. Her body is like kind of like a cranberry-ish red, and then her skin is, God, it's so close. It's interesting. So it's a little more orangey, but man, those are close colors. Hold on, let's do this.
Stelfreeze used to say he wanted to like obliterate skin tone, you know. Right. I think that's kind of what he meant. Like here is like getting rid of those natural, you know, white people colors that we normally think of, because like this is it's skin tone, but it's of course she's a different nationality. She's got darker skin, but she's also in shadow, so it is a little darker even. Yeah.
So her skin color sits way down here. And up about here, and that's the outline, and then her flesh tone is this color, so it's a little darker and sits up here in the red. It's interesting.
It looks like that. Yeah,
two colors. Oh, the kitty's face is so oh man, shut this. I'm curious if this video will get flagged by Disney.
Maybe
they're like, you can't, because it was interesting. Yeah, like I don't think it will, but it might.
I wonder if the water, see where she's sitting down, the water is almost the same color as her outfit.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if those are like the same, like if the background guy is obviously working on the same palette.
This is her, oh shoot, I can't remember which is which. Hold on. This is her costume, is this color. So it's sitting in a purple, but very desaturated. And then the water is almost the same, but blue. Yeah. So they're doing a lot of that. They're doing where it sits at the same saturation, but the color is just a slightly different chroma. I think. Is that the right terminology?
Sure. I'm not too technical with that stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know either. I just don't want to be that guy. Oh, this is great. Look at that.
Yeah, see, this is probably the most colors we've seen in one shot, even though it's probably the same couple of colors. You got your greens, your oranges, your purples.
It's funny that yellow, green, and blue. I find it interesting that they decided to have this little cabinet open with a little greenish blue like wagon in it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's kind of the brightest thing.
Yeah.
Other than him.
Is this the bird? Or no, he doesn't have the bird.
No, he's not in there.
I like this purple.
That's where they were. That's where he was when they got him, and it turns out he was evil and he hung out with Jafar all the time.
The design of these statues is great. This like elephant statue is very, very cool. And then this is great too. This almost has echoes of Hercules.
Right. It's still all in that kind of Hirschfeld, weird swooping shapes.
Yeah. Oh, this is nice.
Look at the red. See the red on the background in between the lattice or whatever the design work?
Yeah.
See how the red on the left looks brighter than the red of it.
Yeah, right here in particular.
On the right.
Yeah.
I bet it's the same red.
You think so? Let's see.
Yeah, let's see if it's playing a trick on our eyes. I'm curious.
Okay, so this is the highlighted one.
Yeah. You can keep it there. Just go. No. Just open it up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like open that.
Okay.
Now just go over there and sample the other one.
Oh, okay.
Much. We'll see. See if it moves.
Oh, okay.
Very slightly, so it does get a little darker. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's just so subtle. Look at that. Oh, that's a little brighter. It's a little hotter right here.
Yeah.
Than there. You see that? It jumps little more.
I've seen tricks of the eye like that, though, where it looks darker, but it's not just because of the color it's next to.
Yeah, it's a little different. That's interesting. That was fun, Kelsey. Thank you. You know what pops for me on this stupid piece, so I don't want to call it stupid, is the blue on the parrot's tail is so
pretty intense.
So vibrant. This right here, it really, like, when you look at the whole scene, that's such a like little point of interest.
Yeah, I mean, you probably should have graded out a little bit more.
And it's funny is this bright color right by his nose is funny too, because it actually separates Jafar from the parrot quite well.
So saturated. This has got to be the most saturated colors ever.
What's the parrot's name? I forgot.
Iago.
He got in a lot of trouble down the road. Gilbert, he's got a spicy tongue.
I love Gilbert Godfrey. I think it's hilarious.
I like the gem. It's funny because it's like just that little bit of airbrush and the hot spot makes it
look. That must have taken so much work to do on because I think this is before their CAPS system, which is the digital coloring.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all of this was still done by hand. So that little bit of coloring on cells. I mean, did they do that on this movie? I think they did.
I think it's cell animation mixed with a little bit of the 3D.
Well, no, I mean the coloring. They eventually, because Pixar created what they call the CAPS system, and I forget which movie they started that on, which is where they would literally color it all in the computer. But this one, I think that was before. I think this was before that. So I don't know how they're getting the grads around some of the soft edges.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Maybe somebody else knows. Yeah. Gosh, see the soft edge around the lighting on his beard. How do you get that little bit of softness? That is intense. That red. Check that red in his eye real quick.
Yeah.
No, I mean in the pupil. Yeah, check that. Okay. It's not that. Wait, is that the center of the pupil?
Oh, there you go.
Pop. Yeah. Right. Illegal.
Oh. Yeah. So depending on which pixels, but yeah, it sits up there pretty bright. And then that's down there.
Intense. This makes me want to do some animation, just go crazy on the colors.
You could probably throw some of this in Nexus, yeah?
Not if it's illegal.
Right. I see what you're saying.
But I do play around with, the juxtaposing of color like this for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I got anything I can show off just yet. Oh, well, maybe next time.
Well, as soon as I finish the heavy metal job, I'm going to start sending you more Blaster Kid pieces, and we can play around with some of these ideas and see how we can push and pull it and the examples. So it'll be fun. This is great. I love. It's almost like we're getting like 3-4 shots in one. We've got the foreground a little further away, and then it's really.
But he's also, I think he's walking, so that light on the background is moving with him. Which would be interesting to see how that affects that foreground light, because
this right here or
maybe it's not. Maybe that's because he doesn't have a torch, so I guess it's not moving with him. He's moving through that scene.
Maybe there's a torch on this wall or something lighting that. Oh my gosh!
Good stuff.
Oh, look at the blue.
It's pretty dark. Yeah. What is he smoking us?
I know. What is that? He's got a vape pipe. He's vaping.
Yeah.
He's vaping before he goes to his meeting. Oh, look at that.
Right. Golly, man. The yellow next to the blue in the background.
Oh, right here? Yeah.
So bright.
So it's right about there.
It's just it's the lightest thing compared to everything else.
Oh, look, they are the same exact saturation though. Do you see that? Look at that. Or
close, yeah. Jeez. Yeah, they're just using color, not value. Value is the white or black, right? It's like how much dark or light it is.
It's interesting. So do you think his mustache be black, or do you think it won't?
No, they haven't done any black in this. There's not even any black.
Well, that one, it reads as black. We'll see if it really is.
Yeah, where?
Yeah, it sits right in the corner.
Oh, it does?
His mustache and goatee. Let's see.
That's the first.
Yeah, it's pure black.
That's the first straight black I've seen.
Let's see if this is black right here. Yeah, that's black too. This right here is black. Let's get this corner. I don't think this corner is. I'm seeing another color in it. Oh no, it is. Interesting. Could
maybe
be the JPEG,
maybe by this point they were like, "Give us a break, just block it out already."
Yeah. Oh, here's the flame guy again.
Yeah, I wonder if that flame sits in the same place as it did before, or if.
Yeah, I didn't have the scan of it. I blew it. I tried so hard. There's Aladdin. This is a nice shot. I like how they didn't do these as straight up and down, that they're all leaning.
Yeah, there's almost no straight lines. Everything is kind of off.
It's kind of cool. I might have to use that for my heavy metal story.
Yeah, if you look at like Michael Golden, again, going to Michael Golden, like when he's drawing cityscapes or like a character running like crazy through a city, and it looks like everything's in perspective, but buildings will be like tilted and off. And
see, I don't know if you can see it here, but they outline her hair with this blue. So there's a very like dark, blue in her hair. It really looks nice. And then that's black, but yeah, right here there's blue.
I mean, why would you even do that? That cost $3 million to do just that line on her hair and the whole.
Right. This guy's awesome. His sword too, or scimitar.
Yeah, he's huge. Look at his simple like hands.
His thumb is like thicker than her whole arm.
I would never let myself get away with that,
Yeah. That's about how good I draw hands right now. Sometimes it's weird. Like I'll draw some hands and I'm like, oh, I'm getting pretty good at hands. And then I'll draw other hands and I'm like, man, what the hell is going on?
Well, that hand is totally wrong. I mean, the thumb goes down. He's got it up here.
Yeah. No one cares.
Well, no, and it's moving in animation, and
Oh, right.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as it reads right. Those backgrounds are insane. All these are really well done.
This was a nice little sequence, actually. This is a little bit of the CG you can see kind of coming in.
I hope you got a couple frames of this, because as he's doing this, it's generating lightning, and you see this hard highlight hit on several of these shots. You'll see the lightning change the lighting.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, let's see if it captures. This diamond in the rough.
The little CG.
Purple. Yeah. That sells the glass, though. It kind of, the reflectiveness of the glass.
Yeah.
That face.
The feathers from Iago.
So far, we've seen just so much like red, purple. Oh, this is so great. That purple, the reddish. What is that? Reddish purple?
Down here is kind of a pinky thing. And then let me see. Up here, it gets a little darker. Down here, it looks like, wow, I would have guessed that was way more. So up here is here. And then down here is just right there. It seems so much brighter. There to there. It's not a big leap. And there's still a lot of room for they could have really gone crazy
I would be so tempted to throw some etch lighting on them or something to make them pop.
Like, I would consider this a bright color, and it's funny. Oh, it doesn't really show up as bright as I thought. Let me see something really quick. I'm kind of curious. Okay. Yeah, see, I would have it. I would be like this, and then it would be like, I'd be up here, and I'd go, I need more bright, and there wouldn't be more bright left. I'm like, shit, doesn't it go up higher up here?
And the beauty of color theory, it's just about what you're balancing it next to.
Oh, look at this shot.
Yeah. All dark colors, but it still pops as if it's super bright.
Man. So that's a pretty, it's like a curved 3-point perspective they've got going on here. And then this building is totally out of whack, but it still just looks very, very cool.
Yeah, this is where I want to get to this idea of, not being so accurate, and going more from your gut. And
if it looks cool, then just leave it.
Making it visceral and not necessarily accurate.
Yeah. Oh, these are great scenes with the I don't know if you call it cools, but like them in this shelter area with the sun setting.
Yeah, I guess it is cool. It's probably still in the kind of warm spectrum of the palette, though. And even his pants have like red in them. Everything's got the red. Even his blue coat has purple in it.
Yeah.
Is that his pants?
This right here? Yeah, his pants are like this dark purple.
They look white.
I know. It's like a 40% purple.
Like Kick One says, his dad worked
almost black. It's like a black blue.
That's insane. It doesn't look like that at all.
I know. That's crazy, right? That's what this video is all about. It's about melting minds.
Like Kick One's dad. What?
I said I'm glad you're back.
Oh yeah, thanks. Leg Kick One says his dad worked next to the animation building when he worked at Disney in the '60s.
Oh,
he'd have lunch with him and told him how amazed he was at how they could draw everything. Yeah, they are amazing. I mean, they were learning how to do this when they were doing it back then. Well, in the '60s, I don't know. I'm thinking more like the '50s, '40s, and '50s.
I have a series of books that I've been buying that are called The Hidden Art of Disney
Penthouse Edition.
It's called They Drew as They Pleased. It's a series of books called They Drew as They Pleased. And it goes through different, I think, decades of Disney. They're really, really cool.
Oh, man, that'd be great. Yeah, some of those guys. I was one of my images that I almost chose because I've been obsessed with it is this Mark Davis, who was one of the 9 Old Men animators. He would do these. He did this painting of Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah,
it's just so well done, and graphic. It was my backdrop for.
Oh, here's the guy. This is the guy that reminds me of a Joe Mad.
Yeah, he does.
There was one shot in particular. It's a front view of him, and I was like, "Man, Joe totally."
It's his teeth. It's his mouth and his gums and all that. That's
yeah.
Oh, Don Bluth in there too.
Yeah, like the one gold tooth. Oh, this is a nice shot.
This shot was actually copied in countless animations because it's a pan down and you're seeing rats crawl across the silhouettes.
Yeah.
And that was copied so many times.
Now, did they do it originally in like Pinocchio or one of those old movies though? Maybe before this?
I don't know. They did it in Dracula, the Bram Stoker's Dracula, where the rat was climbing upside down over the rafter. It was like,
look at this shot.
Yeah, that's intense. Is that green or is that blue gray on the rock? The highlight of the rock. Yeah.
What's funny is it looks a little greenish blue to me. I actually have a tiny bit of color blindness to certain areas of blue and green.
The super highlight goes probably more to a gray. Like down there. Yeah.
I was a teenager and I went to a store and I bought a hat that I thought was blue, and then I realized it was purple, and I was like, I didn't even know really about color blindness then, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I get a little bit of that when it gets to super deep colors. Like, is it blue? Is it black?
Yeah.
Hard to tell.
Yeah, this looks green to me, even though it's still in blue, but this particular looks like a aquamarine blue or something.
Colors are like magic. I mean, it's really weird how that works, where it looks green, but it's just blue next to purple.
Yeah.
And look at the Iago's colors there, where you could still read him as this red bird, but
he's like a dark purple or pink.
It's almost black.
Yeah,
I'll use those colors for black.
His feathers are this color.
That's just
look
weird.
How far over. That's his feathers. His feathers sit almost in black.
I do this occasionally with live action stuff where I'll pick shots where I'm like, the color in this is amazing, and I'll try to sample stuff out of it, and it's all just black.
This is Joe Mad to the limit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, totally.
I was like, that looks like a Madureira drawing almost.
Joe Mad by way of like Herman Maya or something, or who am I thinking?
Or Carlos Meglia.
Carlos Meglia, yeah.
Oh, Herman Mejia. That is another artist.
Yeah. Herman Maya does a lot of Mad Magazine stuff.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. The opening with the staircase going down.
In storytelling ways and kind of terminology, or this is kind of like what you want to do with color too, is that you're leading the reader or the viewer from one scene to the next. This scene is all this blue, and you're about to go into this next scene, but it's also there's a danger element to this guy. Yeah. And so of course, where he's leading you to is red. I mean, it's you're out of the frying pan into the fire.
You're really going to get a play with color like this in Blaster Kid. It's funny. It's like it's not like everything, but a lot of it really is. It's I started going backwards in the movie. This is very, very cool, actually.
This is kind of what I was referring to. They do this a couple times. See how there's lightning flashing. And it's highlighting. They were doing the same thing in that scene where Iago was pedaling on the thing for the energy, and it suddenly this intense highlight. But I guarantee that white, it looks like white.
Yeah,
it's probably like some dark ass blue. Right? Like, oh no, that's pretty high.
Yeah, kind of bounces around. Let's see what this is. This gets a little darker. I was
thinking it was going to lie to us.
Yeah, these are dark.
It's still not as bright as you think. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I love these graphic shapes, though.
We're creeping up on noon, so we're gonna have to wrap it up in a bit because I actually do need to get to work. But we'll go for another 5 minutes.
I need to get some food.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
I love this shot. It's very, very cool.
And it's always got that little bit of blue coming in, but it's it's purple over in the far right, top left corner. I mean, there's this purple haze coming in from some top left. I mean, sorry.
This is all very cool. Oh, yeah, sorry.
There it is. This little bit of light coming in.
Good stuff. People will have to watch this video back in the dark so that they can see the color.
Yeah. Definitely. I wonder if that would help.
It will a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, you know what? I might have to watch this tonight with the lights off in my office and see how it goes. It'll be kind of fun. Oh, this is so cool.
Gold. God, gold is so very rarely just yellow. It's almost you color it more like brass.
Right.
And then the very, very highlight where it's hitting the light the most, you make that like a pure yellow, but I don't think it's got any of that in this one.
It's a little darker. That's about the brightest it gets, is that right there.
Yeah, that's because you don't want to draw too much attention to any other spot.
That's such a great still. Oh man, it's funny.
I love the shape language of him right here. I've always loved the way his arms, like they get broader toward the bottom.
Yeah,
Like it's coming at you. But it's just a great shape.
His
and
face.
Then, of course, this was the first 3D character in an animation.
So the character was actually 3D.
The flying carpet.
Yeah, right.
Well, what they did was they hand animated it, and then they, through computer imagery, somehow wrapped the texture on it.
Right.
So it's hand animated, but it's all texture mapped.
It's interesting because you'll see there's two different sets of faces on the other side that I actually screen capped. But there's two. You see, there's tigers on this side, and then I think there's like a knight in armor on the other side. Well, I never noticed that before, but yeah.
Hey, Jordan Seward has a question. In those dark scenes, do they add original costume colors and then wash the whole in blue, or are the colors chosen individually? For this one, they are chosen individually because the guy that did the color theory in this was a total badass. But a lot of times what we do, and I know other colorists do this as well as I do, is they'll color everything true color first and then tint the scene by adding some sort of overlay layers to like whatever the ambient tone is, and then they'll pop out the highlights. So that is an easy way to do it.
I love how it gets darker as it goes back with the piles of gold.
Yeah. Yeah, this really, I mean, it makes you want to like learn more about color because of the, when you're a master of it, you see how well you can execute it, for storytelling, for drama, for everything. And how, we're all used to using such highlight colors, such bright colors, but you see how you don't have to go so hot or so dark.
Look at this. This is like a Irvindale piece. Whatever his name is. I never remember his name.
It looks like a Yes cover.
Yeah,
like
totally.
Dean, what's his name?
Roger Dean.
Yeah, a little Roger Deanish. I love the lighting.
I'm thinking of though. Irvindale. Irvindale.
I don't know.
The painter. He does like Samurai Jack art.
Oh yeah, totally. I love the underlighting from under the water, hitting the underside of the rocks.
Yeah, I know, it was so cool. Oh, this is great. The lighting on Aladdin.
It's like, where's that light coming from?
Oh, the water is glowing.
Yeah, I wouldn't think to like do that. Put lights under the water.
Yeah, now you would.
Now I would. I'm going to now.
Do you realize that we haven't even gotten to the genie yet?
I know. And he pops because he's that bright blue.
It's like I didn't realize this would take so long. I knew it would take a while, but man, we haven't even seen the genie.
Well, we should have done like a couple from each scene.
Yeah,
really should have done because each scene is like really intense.
Next time we'll do more because I would love to actually check out some more. Pixar, Disney, whatever. They're well worth looking at. And
they have the best artists working together to create this ultimate work. So I mean, it's really worth our while to examine some of this stuff.
Yep, I agree. And it's a little different on YouTube than some other stuff that you might see. I haven't seen too many comic book artists actually go through animated films, so it's kind of a fun, different topic to discuss, but well worthwhile. Oh, this is so good. Yeah, and it's funny. The exit of the cave is blue. Do you see that?
Yeah, and when he goes through it, we're going to see how they juxtapose the blue and orange so well because he'll be in shadow, and then this bright, it'll be reverse of this, where that bright orange is the dot behind him.
This has got a little bit of a dragon's layer. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's so badass.
And it's not that bright. It says everything it needs to, and it's not even close to bright. Oh, wow. Edge lighting. That's like a secret I learned from a really good Marvel colorist one time. He was like, when all else fails, edge light.
Yeah, it looks really good.
So you need something cool real quick, throw some edge lighting on it.
It's interesting. It's kind of one of the first times I've seen color over the color. You know what I mean? Like where it like almost looks like another layer of
It looks like a
atmosphere.
wisp of smoke, maybe it was going.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
And again, he's
God.
so perfectly silhouetted.
How lucky are we that we get to create art for a living?
It's pretty fun.
Yeah. It could be worse.
Yeah, I've had plenty of those other jobs.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, gosh. Yeah, it's so dark. Some of this stuff wouldn't translate well to still imagery, so you kind of have to kind of fuss around with that. Sometimes you don't want to go too monochromatic because then, as a still image, you're not really sure what to look at. Whereas they can get away with it because they have movement to really focus your attention too. But
Sheldon did a super chat. He says, "Great stream, guys. I no longer believe color anymore."
Yeah, it lies to you, man. It lies. Just like pencils lie. Ink is truth.
True. So funny.
Color lies to you.
Nice. Okay, so let me get out of full screen mode. Dang, that was really fun. I'm kind of bummed that we have to end it, but I really do need to get to work. I've got 2 more promos that I need to finish.
So rarely see green, and they were finally bringing green in there.
I know.
It's interesting, their use of green.
We were only going to do an hour today, so you guys got an extra hour out of us.
Now I'm starving. I got to get some food in me.
Yeah. Well, thank everyone so much for tuning in today. This was a lot of fun, and we'll definitely do more Disney or Pixar or Fox or whatever.
Yeah. There's definitely like I was telling you about the Netflix Christmas show that was it's kind of a hybrid, or it looks like it's 3D, but it looks 2D, and it has some of the best composition and lighting I've seen in ages.
I follow one of the artists that worked on it on Instagram.
There's a ton of it on ArtStation too, I've noticed. So,
right. It's the same artist, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there's lots. It would be interesting to go through, some Bluth and like Pixar, like you're saying. Pixar's got some really beautiful. Like that's one of the reasons I like that Monsters Inc. is because the color is insane.
Kirk suggested 101 Dalmatians. So that's Kirk will obviously know this. That's an interesting era of the Disney animation because it was rough cleanup on it.
Yeah, it's my favorite is that because the cleanup is they were using the photocopier basically. Photocopier pencils, so it's real rough. But also they in 101 Dalmatians, even the backgrounds kind of go to that aesthetic because if you look, the color is not all in the lines.
Let's do 101 Dalmatians next week.
Okay,
that'll be fun.
That has a very like 60s Bob Peak kind of influence. Yeah, I love that 60s style.
That'll be cool because it really looks drawn. I mean, I think
was that late 50s. When did that come out? Was that 60s or was that late 50s? I don't know.
Oh man, I'm not sure off the top of my head.
We'll find out.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys all for tuning in. We're going to end it here and have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Take off your beard.
Oh.